Hello everybody, it's Glenda with Fralins and Friends Crafts Plus. And tonight, I drew this tree last night. It was today's upload. And I said that I would like to try my markers on it. So that's what I'm doing. And I kind of wanted to explain a few things. I don't know how many of you, I'm sure I know a lot of you have studied drawing and that kind of stuff, but I hadn't used these fine tips for a long time. These are brand new ones, but any fine tips. But in doing the bark on the tree, and I wanted to make sure that I got the shadow in. And I don't know why, maybe because I'm right-handed. I usually like the light coming from the left. I don't have any particular reason why. I just do. So it is coming from the left in this one. And so you're going to notice I'm marking much darker. I'm using a technique that we used in some classes that I took. It's not fully coloring it in. It's just making kind of marks. And I do that because I want it to look like tree bark. I mean, it'd be easy to color it all in, but it wouldn't have that tree bark effect that I'm looking for. But I am making it much heavier on the right side because that is the side that's out of the sun. And we had trees, in the pasture where I grew up, and on the last place that we had before moving here, we had a big tree, and its roots were all spread across the top of the ground. Not all, I mean, there were some, but so that's why I kind of had that one in mind. And I'm trying to make it a fall. Yeah, it's the fall season now, so, but you're going to notice me making a lot less. I'll still be making marks, but there's going to be fewer of them on the left side because that's where the light is coming from. And I'm hoping that, because when I shaded it dark on the left and light on the right. No, I shaded it dark on the right and light on the left, but I felt like I had this kind of line that I had right down the middle of the trunk. So I'm hoping that isn't, with the marker, that isn't quite so obvious. So, and I'll be glad when I get this tree done because then I can talk to you about the bird. I took out the bird that was looking straight down. Birds don't perch that way on a tree. They just don't. This limb here, if you'll notice, it's kind of looking broken because that's the way I made it. It's a broken limb. And it's not completely broken. It's partially broken. And so limbs will often scar over. And once they do, then life will kind of grow back into it. I don't know if you've ever really noticed that on a tree or not. But when you see one that looks like it's got this bump or scar or something on it, that's why. It's because maybe that's been damaged there, lost a limb or something. But if a limb is partly damaged, then a lot of times you might see some little limbs or branches on the end of it, or twigs. That's what I'm looking for, twigs. That are starting to come to life on the end of that limb again. At least that's what I've noticed on several that I have seen in nature. And I think I told you that. I took out the bird that was standing on the upright limb. So he was looking, his beak was down, looking at the bottom. I don't know why, I was being funny. So I raised him. He had no business being there. Not like that anyway. I had my GoPro, and I was sure I was filming with it. The timer was running on it. I don't know why. All it caught was just snaps, little snapshots, and all they got were the very top of the tree. And I know I had that angled because I could look right through the back of it, so somehow that didn't take, or at least it wouldn't transfer. But that doesn't really make sense to me because the stills on there transferred to the computer. I don't know why the other ones wouldn't. But I've been having trouble with that camera and trying to figure it out. But otherwise, you would have had a much closer view. I kept this bigger camera, the one I usually use, I kept it on this, I had it in this direction from the side view. And as far back as, as far as if looking up the tree as I could, so you could get full view of it. But that's why it's not a real close-up view. Anyway, so I do have a lot of pencil marks in here. There's going to be something you're going to notice here pretty soon, I hope. And that is going to be an addition in the tree. I got rid of an owl that was in there that did not even look like an owl. It didn't look like anything similar to an owl, I didn't think. But I did draw another one. And he's sitting there. You can probably see him. But obviously I'm not done with the brown. Or maybe I am. I don't know what I'm doing. Who knows what I'm doing. But, I like trees. I like birds. I like nature. You guys know that. There he is. He's a gray owl. So, and it's funny how this marker turns out almost looking blue-gray. But, so, excuse me. But yes, it's an appropriate time to be drawing a tree that's losing its leaves and an owl that's just perched in that tree. It's my nod to Halloween. The owl is. But owls are part of our nature anyway. They have nothing to do with Halloween except that because it gets dark earlier, we're more likely to hear their calls because they're more alert at night. They sleep more during the day. But they're night hunters. That's why their eyes are so big. I didn't want to color in, like white and I didn't have any like light brown. So I went ahead and I used yellow around the eyes on those eye feathers. But I think he's a pretty cool owl. They get those big old eyes. So, and I do still have that one other little bird down there. And so he's just going to be a little bird of any kind of, I don't know what kind of bird he is. He's just a bird. Kind of a tufted bird. But you'll see that one. Okay, I see. my broken limb, at the end of it had me going for a minute, and then I realized what I was looking at. My own picture, I don't remember it. I'm going to let you guys listen to some music while this finishes. It's got a little ways to go, but I'm going to let you guys listen to some music. Thank you, everybody, for being patient and watching as this, as I colored this in. I don't know what to say. I lost my train of thought. But I'm kind of glad I added the leaves, although they are a little bit more like raindrops. But just the way they're falling even. Anyway, never mind. I'm critiquing my work here. And I'm not supposed to do that, so. But I hope you enjoy. I like that owl. I just think he is in the best place and having his best day. Probably sleeping away until after dark, when he can open his eyes, look around, and see everything we can't. Kind of makes me a little jealous. But no, I'd rather sleep at night. I'm no longer a night owl. I don't know why. There it is. There I'm able to get it more clear and to where you could actually see it in its glory. Thank you for being with us and watching, and have a good night.